Eyewitness News starts right now.
A confirmed tornado touching down in Kanawha County. Tonight, a bird's eye view of the path of destruction and a look at the work that still needs to be done to clear out the damage left behind.
Plus, what's being done to help the thousands of people who are still without power right now.
New here at 5 tonight, the National Weather Service says that storm damage indicates a tornado did touch down specifically in the Alum Creek area of Kanawha County. Right now, the Weather Service is working to determine the tornado's strength. Tens of thousands of people are still in the dark and roads are still blocked after strong winds knocked out power and uprooted trees. With its vast network of hills and mountains, West Virginia averages just 2 tornadoes a year.
And we continue our storm team coverage tonight. Eyewitness News crews have been out tracking the damage as cleanup begins and work continues to clear debris and repair power outages. But right now, Eyewitness News anchor Rick Lord is out by the state capitol where crews are working to repair a utility pole.
State workers were sent home because there's no power there. Rick, what's the progress being made out there this evening?
Well, I'll tell you what, things are going smoothly right now. The work is being done efficiently and they are working as quickly as possible. Just to let you know where I'm at, you said the Capitol. We are technically right on the corner of Washington Street East and Jefferson, just a block away from California Avenue, which of course runs right down the east side of the Capitol. Right behind me, this brown building used to be the Public Employees Daycare, and as you can see right down this street, they are at work, hard at work, I might say. 11 bucket trucks simultaneously working to get all of these power poles back up. What happened last night when that storm rolled through, basically right through this neighborhood, one of those poles was yanked down and then a domino effect, bringing down all of the other poles around the perimeter of that parking lot. And even to the left of your screen, there's more work being done on the corner right there of Washington and California. That building that you see behind those workers is part of the Capitol complex. So that's just how close we are to the Capitol. The work has been going on all day. They're trying to get as much done as possible. I guess the silver lining in all of this is that most of the damage was basically confined to those areas that were right in the middle of that storm. So unlike the derecho 7 years ago, they have a confined area and they're getting a lot of help from outside sources. Some of these license plates have North Carolina on them, so they're bringing in crews from out of state, from out of the area, and getting it done as quickly as possible. Moving forward, power outages will be the big concern now with all the cleanup underway. At last check, just shy of 15,000 customers in Kanawha County still without power. So hopefully they'll be working like these gentlemen are right now to get everyone back on the grid. Of course, that will be a little while. And right now, let's send it out to Eyewitness News reporter Danielle Dindek, who is live with an estimate for you about when everyone around here will finally get back on the grid. Danielle?
The sun will be going down here shortly, but not everyone's lights will be turned on tonight. There's still a lot of work to be done out here in the South Hills. It was a scary night for Lucy Michael.
It made me real nervous because it got real black.
Officials are still warning drivers to use caution while on the roads because a lot of the traffic lights are still out. When that happens, treat it as a four-way stop sign. And also, they're urging you to watch where you step around wires. Reporting live in Charleston, Danielle Dindek, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Danielle. You know, the path of this storm was very specific. It popped up to our south in Lincoln County, moved northeast through Southridge area, through South Hills, across the river, which is about 500 yards to my south right now, right overhead of the Capitol and East End, and then over that hill toward the airport and up toward Pinch. That's where most of the damage has been concentrated. One of the big trouble spots when it comes to things like down trees and down power lines is in the neighborhood right on Sherwood Road. That's off Quarter G in the South Hills area just to our south. Eyewitness News reporter Kaylee Gunderson is live right now after speaking with Mayor Amy Goodwin this morning, who went door to door making sure neighbors were okay. Kaylee?
Rick, this area was certainly hit hard. A lot of power lines down, a lot of people dealing with damage to their homes. But this is what we're seeing the most of. Large trees ripped right up out of the ground. I was guessing maybe this tree was probably about 40 feet tall. Now it's leaning up on power lines. But again, this is across this neighborhood. Some neighbors actually saw the storm in action as they were trying to be at home last night, and they got caught in the middle of it. waking up to a long wait for trees to be cleared, power lines to be repaired, and
we've got to make sure people can get out.
Charleston Mayor Amy Goodwin and Mark Strickland, Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, walked the trail of damage, assessing the needs of families, beginning with Sherwood Road.
Courtney, do you need anything? Anybody in the house need any medications, refrigeration? You got water, you good?
Courtney Kirk and her fiance Ethan Clark said they don't need anything, just relieved they made it home last night.
A couple more trees started falling down. We kind of got trapped, one in front, one behind, another in front.
In the middle of the storm, they and their 3-year-old son took off for the closest home.
Our first thought was, we have to save the baby. Just get him to safety. If we would have been 2 feet in the front of us or 2 feet behind us, we would have been trapped in the car with the tree on top of us.
The most alarming part was the speed the storm was traveling.
You just see it just coming towards you. And it was, took the breath out of me.
And its power obvious when looking at these large trees uprooted and falling toward Route 119.
This looks horrific, but fortunately this didn't fall on somebody's house. And right now, we don't have any reports of anybody being injured, and that is a true blessing.
All routes in and out of this neighborhood are still blocked off tonight. People are being advised not to drive in and out because of those power lines that are still down in some areas. You can't pass because of the trees, but crews have been working to get some of those roads cleared, and neighbors have been pitching in as well. Some neighbors say their biggest concern is just the elderly. They say this community has a lot of elderly people in it, and what if they have needs, medical needs, things that they need to get in and out for? So that is certainly a concern here. County Commission President Kent Carper said earlier today he expects these power outages could be out until Thursday. Reporting live in Charleston, Kaylee Gunderson, Eyewitness News.
All right, Kaylee, thank you very much. So the cleanup continues for a lot of folks around here. It probably will take a few days before everyone gets all that debris and all of those neighborhoods back to the way they once were. But I guess you could say one of the good things about all of this is that the weather has been cooperating. We don't have a lot of rain in the forecast over the next few days. With a look now specifically about what we can expect as we move toward the rest of the work week, here's Chief Meteorologist Doug Harlow.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rick. I wish we had some cooler days ahead for folks that are without power right now, because it's going to be only getting hotter from here on out. That's the downside. But it is quiet, and it's going to remain so for the most part here for the next several days. Now, this was the wind shear track going back to 6:50 last evening, indicating some very strong, very intense rotating winds right in the Alum Creek area. And that's exactly where the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado touchdown. What they've been doing all day, though, is surveying damage along the path here as this made its way off to the east-northeast. And they're currently, the National Weather Service folks are up on Greenbrier Street. That's kind of the tail end of this thing. So we're waiting on a complete report from them. They're going to be heading back to the National Weather Service office here, and we will get a complete report on the wind speeds and whether there were additional touchdowns with that tornado as it made its way to the northeast towards downtown Charleston. Right now, we're calm, just some scattered clouds and really very pleasant. The humidity started off pretty muggy this morning, but it's eased off this afternoon in the wake of a cold front. Temperatures are sitting at around 82 degrees for Huntington and Charleston. We'll be dropping back through the 70s into the upper 60s by around 11 o'clock. Watch for some fog overnight. Winds will drop off here, so I think there will be some fairly widespread fog by dawn. We'll bottom out at around 63 degrees. We'll talk about that warm up ahead and just how hot it's going to be getting for the upcoming weekend in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Doug. Now to our question of the day. Were you more prepared or less prepared for last night's storm than the DeRate Show? Stop by our Facebook page where you can join in on that conversation. In Scioto County, the parents of a baby found dead in a well. Back in court, new at 5 where that case goes from here.
And in our continuing coverage of last night's severe weather, we'll take a look at some of the hardest hit areas in Kanawha County and how the National Weather Service determines if a tornado touched down.
And we begin with team coverage tonight. Eyewitness News anchor Rick Lohr joins us from the state capitol.
Appalachian power crews have been on scene there all day, repairing a utility pole and power lines in that area. Rick, how are things going so far?
You know what? We've seen a lot of progress just in the last half hour. If you were with us at the top of the 5, you saw these workers behind me getting busy in this parking lot just about 1 block to the east of the Capitol here on Washington Street East. where it intersects with Jefferson, right in front of the Public Employees Daycare, what used to be the Public Employees Daycare. They're working in concert to get all these poles back up, 11 bucket trucks working simultaneously, and it's impressive work. We've just been watching what they've been doing, and I tell you what, they're getting it done. We can tell you that this specific job will likely bleed over into tomorrow morning. They have some light kits out here, so they'll probably be working once the sun goes down around 9 o'clock. We have been told that they expect to have this job finished by late morning tomorrow. Appalachian Power, by the way, telling us that generally speaking, everybody in the county should be back on the grid by Thursday. So there's still a ways to go for everybody. At last check, there were about 15,000 customers in Kanawha County still without power. So that is the issue moving forward, is trying to get everyone back on the grid. Hopefully with work being done like this around the county, it'll happen sooner rather than later. But again, the latest conservative estimate is Thursday for everybody. The power was knocked out to the Capitol today, which again is just one block to our west here. They had to send employees home at noon, but we can tell you that power has since been restored, so there shouldn't be any issues there. Just over that hill up at Yeager Airport, things are running smoothly. They're running on generator power, but they're fully operational, no flights affected right now. But there were several areas that were tremendously hit hard by that storm last night, which kind of popped up in Lincoln County and then moved northeast. One of those specific neighborhoods is right there in the Berry Hills Country Club area. The golf course was hit, the houses around it were hit, and really some pretty damaging video to show you. Take a look at this video from the pool and golf course area at Berry Hills. Several downed trees blocking entrances. The pool going to take a while to get back to normal, littered with debris, twisted tents. Right now they're estimating that they'll be closed for at least a week as they try to get things back on track and clean up what we've been told were around 100 plus trees that were downed on that course alone. Meanwhile, just to the south, in Alum Creek, right along Quarter G, a lot of damage in the Coventry Woods subdivision off Childress Road. People out early this morning clearing all that debris from their yards, surveying the damage, and that's basically what's going to happen throughout many neighborhoods. People getting out and about into their yards, into their front driveways, and figuring out what happened to their homes and what they need to do moving forward. We can tell you that a tornado has been ruled official, touching down in Alum Creek. Meteorologist Kate Nagel live in a neighborhood near Southridge, where the National Weather Service was there all afternoon assessing that damage after a lot of people reported to our station last night that they saw a funnel cloud coming down from the sky. Kate, what can you tell us?
All right, well, we are in the Alum Creek area, just off Childress Road, and that's where we've seen a lot of damage when it comes to the trees down. And this is the area that the National Weather Service has confirmed, in fact, that a tornado did touch down, at least in this area. Now, of course, the speed and the strength of it still not quite determined. They've been out surveying all day, going throughout areas from Alum Creek up to the South Ridge area into South Hills, and they'll be making it, of course, into the Charleston area up into Yeager Airport. So those are the areas that they are looking at where we've seen most of the destruction when it comes to especially the trees, and that's something they are going to be really paying attention to when it comes to determining the fact if there were more touchdowns or if it was just strong wind. So directions when it comes to the trees falling, it's much different from the wind gust that we had a couple months ago where we had the microburst where all the trees were in one direction. That's a big indicator of that. But when it comes to more so of tornado damage, trees are going to be in a lot more different directions. So that's something they're going to be paying attention to, along with the size of the trees. That will help determine some of the speed and maybe even the strength. So that's something we are keeping our eye on when it comes to what the National Weather Service is going to be saying as we head into the later portions of this evening. But of course, we have seen quite a bit of tree damage across much of the area. Crews are still out working, clearing up the roads, getting them off the power line. So that's what we are seeing even here across many of the neighborhoods off of Childress Road. So we'll be keeping you updated, of course, throughout the evening and into the night as we get more information as the National Weather Service releases that, and we'll be keeping you up to date. But reporting live in Charleston, I'm meteorologist Kate Nagel for Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kate. So it seems like work is being done efficiently all over the county. Again, we saw crews from North Carolina, some of the license plates on these trucks from North Carolina, so they're getting a lot of help, and they're trying to get things done as quickly and efficiently as possible. But again, probably Thursday before everyone's power has been restored. All things considered, it could be a lot worse. It's a bit warm out here, but nothing that's preventing these guys from getting to work out here. no rain and none in the forecast, which is really good news. And as Chief Meteorologist Doug Harlow joins us with a look at your forecast, I guess that's the silver lining here, Doug, is that for the cleanup and moving forward, it looks like we have a nice stretch of weather.
Yeah, exactly, Rick. Unlike the derecho, where we had 100-degree temperatures and we still had a couple of active thunderstorm days following the derecho, things are much calmer around here. Now, it is going to heat up after today. This